Hey everyone, it's the TheAngryHoneyBadger, and it's time to take a look at another champion build video. We're going to be playing as Morgana in middle lane. We're going up against a brand this game. We're going to go ahead and talk about her abilities first off in the build, and we'll get to items and all of that coming up as we go through this video. So, starting off at level 1, typically nowadays I'm starting with a Doran's ring and a couple health pots. Pretty helpful on her. It allows you to utilize your passive fairly well when you get that mana back from that Doran's ring, when you pick up kills on the creeps, and we can focus on some of that. So let's go ahead and start with her passive, which is her Soul Siphon. What happens is you get Spell Vamp throughout the game. It increases at level 1, I believe it's 10% Spell Vamp, and then at the end it's 20%. So 10, 15, and 20% Spell Vamp is pretty nice. It allows you to stay in your lane fairly well. Here we're going to do a little bit of a gank. I'm going to hit the brand with my Q, and then Amumu is able to come out and get an easy Q himself onto brand, and we're able to pick up a first blood. So pretty simple stuff. So we'll go ahead and cover what just happened there with our abilities. What we did was at level 1 you should typically put a point into your Dark Binding, which is your Q ability, which when you do send that out, what's going to happen is it's going to bind the target for a duration of time. I think at level 1 it's 2 seconds, and that scales all the way up to 3 seconds when that's fully maxed out. It also does deal a lot of magic damage as well, so that's your Q ability. Then there is your W ability, which is your Tormented Soil, and whenever you cast this, a large pool on the ground comes up, and what happens is that's going to deal damage per second, and that scales with ability power as well, and that lasts for 5 seconds. So typically you want to hit them with your Q and then drop that soil underneath them so they basically are stuck standing in it. So that's usually what you'll see us try to do when we cast those abilities. You'll also probably see me miss a handful of Qs because I don't play Morgana too often, so kind of mediocre with her, to be honest. Then next, what I take then at your level 3, or at least your third ability that you can cast, is your Black Shield. And what happens when you do that is you put a shield around either yourself or any of your teammates on your team. What's going to happen is they can absorb the next certain amount of magic damage that they would take. This does scale with ability power too, so your shield will get larger. While active, it also prevents the application of disables, and this shield lasts for 5 seconds. So, or until it's depleted. So that's your shield, kind of nice to have. So if you're going to get stunned or slowed or something like that, it basically won't happen to you. So it's very nice to negate that from happening. You can put this on high priority targets on your team that they might be trying to kill, like your AD carry, and protect them from crowd control effects. So just something smart to do. You'll see it a few times go off this game where I basically block Brand's stun or Caitlyn's slow a few times. So we're going to see that happening this game as well. And then finally, your ultimate is your Soul Shackles. Whenever you cast this out, what is going to happen is after 3 seconds, it's going to then stun them in place. It's going to do a lot of magic damage as well over time, and it's going to stun them for 1.5 seconds, so it's a lot of damage. Here we're going to use it on Brand. He's going to flash, but I'll flash to make sure he cannot break the connection. He's going to get ignited. He's also going to kill me too because his ultimate keeps bouncing off the minions, and that is going to unfortunately kill me as well. But you can see how the ultimate there, if they do break that line of connection, then they will be free from getting stunned. But nonetheless, if you're able to keep it on them, you're going to stun them for 1.5 seconds. So as this game's been going on, and we've just covered her abilities, been building our first few items. What I tried to do on that first trip back, we did pick up boots, and I did pick up some health as well. That health built into that catalyst, and then I've eventually just picked up a blasting wand. Those two will be teaming up to build a Rod of the Ages, kind of a great standard first item for Morgana players. It gives you a handful of mana, which is nice. Your abilities aren't cheap, but luckily you don't really spam them constantly because they've got some cooldowns, and you just really aren't in the position to constantly spam your abilities like a champion like Cassiopeia or somebody like Ziggs with his bombs. So this will just give us enough mana to deal with some of those things. It also gives us that health and AP, which will scale over time once we do finish off that Rod of Ages. So it's a great first item. It's going to also help you get just enough health to avoid taking a bunch of damage, especially against a champion like Brand, who does deal lots of damage. He, I think, had like 50 AP at level 1, so he's really going for lots of burst early on in this game. But because of that, it's going to affect him as a champion later when I start to only hit him with about 3 abilities and kill him. So we'll see that coming up in a little bit, but we will trade some kills for the first little beginning part of this game. I think me and him are going to get into a little bit of a fight right now. He's trying to clear some minions. I will too. I'm going to get ganked. I'll use my ultimate so it hits both of them, but luckily I will pick up a kill on Brand. I will unfortunately die to Zed, but That will happen. But luckily I was able to at least take one out with me when I am getting ganked. That's usually my goal. If I know I'm not going to be able to get out of the fight, I usually try to at least take one with me. So that's just something to maybe consider. If you're in a gank that you know you probably are not getting away from, maybe try to blow most of your kit off on one of them so you can maybe pick up a kill and take one with you. So the trade at least is even for you and the person that kills you. So that's one thing you may want to consider if you are getting ganked. Now, that last trip back to base, we were able to finish off that Rod of Ages. Very helpful, like I was saying. So now that's going to be scaling over the next few minutes to give me more health, mana, and ability power. So that's going to definitely help me out while I'm standing in lane. Also, every time you level up, you do get its passive, which is going to heal you and give you mana back. So just kind of need to remember that. I think they just took a dragon. That's what I was doing down there. But as I'm coming back to lane, Brand doesn't really see me, so I'm going to send out the Q and then the pool, and then I'm going to ult him as well, so he has to walk through it. He will get stopped by that, dealing that extra damage, and then I will standard attack him to death and pick up a fairly easy kill. But you can see basically those three abilities, your Q, your W, and your ult, dealing plenty of damage to get you a kill. So they do hurt. Now, because all of your abilities, when you do land them all, since they do a lot of damage, it's unfortunate if you miss them all, you basically do no damage. It's not that Morgana is a high-skilled champion. She does take some time to get used to if you are not used to her kit or if you don't play her often at all. But there, you see I hit him with two abilities, but luckily you need to land those. If you miss your Q and then you drop the pool and you miss both of them, you basically have to wait 10 seconds for your cooldowns, and you're kind of just out of luck. Basically, what happened there was he came back to lane, I hit him with a Q and a W, it took about half his life, and if he got hit with another one, which he did, it killed him. So pretty easy kill for me to pick up. As long as you get decent at landing those abilities, you will be wrecking people in the lane. So just something to pay attention to. Here comes Zed, who's been on a rampage or something. He's at about half health. I'm going to do the same thing to him. Hit him with both those abilities and shut him down. So you just really got to make sure you land those skill shots. And when you compile those two abilities, it really does help you out quite a bit. So we'll head back to base now at this point, since we have gotten a handful of kills and some more gold, and we'll be able to keep building. I have just finished off of my boots into magic penetration boots. That's pretty much the standard for Morgana. You're going to want those. Those will definitely help you out. And then I also did pick up a needlessly large rod, which we will be building, obviously, into another item coming up in just a second. So we'll get to that coming up. But as for Morgana, we're going to keep poking at Brand. Now here, he's going to hit me, but see the spell was immune, so I was not going to get stunned by it. Here I'm going to ult him and flash, make sure this sits on him. It's really going to hit him hard and just kill him. So he is not building any health or magic resist. He's trying to go for really bursty, and he's trying to build up his tier, which he just did. But because of the way he's building, he needs to actually try to probably pick up some magic resist or some health so he doesn't get blown up constantly in lane. Because of it, I picked up another couple kills on him and took his tower. So that's just something to consider if you're maybe getting put into the ground by Morgana. Maybe you need to pick up a little bit of health or magic resist to kind of negate her from constantly dealing so much damage to yourself. Because she has constant sustain in lane with her passive. So just kind of remember that maybe if you're fighting against Morgana. Here, kind of do the same thing. Hit him with that Q and that W, and Amumu comes in for the quick kill. So now we're able to push again, and we're grouping up a little bit better than them as well. So covering our next item, I believe we are going to head back to base at this point and maybe pick it up. We'll see if we have enough gold at this point. Do we? No, we do not, but we did pick up a Blasting Wand. We're going to team that Blasting Wand up with that needlessly large rod, and that will be building towards our Deathcap. That's really going to increase our damage by quite a bit, and we're really going to be hurting teams when we get into a team fight, since your ultimate is able to hit everyone on the enemy team as long as they all stay close enough to you. Here I'm actually going to find Rengar. I actually came out to look for him. I am going to end up killing him, but I will die as Brand is here, and I believe Zed shows up as well. And it's going to happen, but I did take Rengar with me, and, you know, your death will happen. It's a game. You're going to die. But we're back at base, and I believe we did just finish off that Deathcap, so that will help us out the next time we get into a giant fight. We'll just kill people even faster. But as for our runes and our masteries, we'll go ahead and cover our rune page. Pretty standard stuff I take for Morgana. I go with my magic penetration marks, my mana regen per level seals, my AP scaling glyphs, and then AP quintessences. It's pretty normal stuff. At level 1, if you take a Doran's ring and you have the same masteries page set up, which we'll get to in a second, you'll have 40 AP at level 1, which is pretty nice to have when you are in lane. So for those masteries, what I do is a 21 09 page, or you can do a 2190. You can do that if you want that bonus health earlier, or that scaling health on Morgana in the defensive tree. But if you want the utility stuff in the tree, you can go over there and pick up the mana regen and some stuff like that, which will definitely help you out. And it's not bad. There you can see the abilities hit Brand and just too much damage between me and that rat, whose name I don't know why I can't think of. Anyways, gonna do some more damage and kill Lulu immediately and pick up a double kill, as we did kill Rengar too with our ultimate. Once it just hit him, it killed him. There's the shield, and it's going to protect him from the slow, but we're just going to decide not to chase after Caitlyn. But you can see what your shield does to prevent things like that, to keep a chase maybe going, or just preventing that crowd control to really happen to you. So just something to remember maybe when you are playing, to put that on somebody who's maybe chasing, or somebody you don't want to get affected by those stuns or fears or slows or anything like that. So it's a very, very strong shield. It works really well. It's also really, really good in ARAM. I know it's kind of random, but that shield stops so much potential damage and hurt in ARAM as well. So, as for those runes, though, or those masteries, like we were talking about, 21 in the offensive trees. Get everything that's going to scale with your ability power to help you out there. If you want to see what that page looks like, you can actually head over to my Facebook page, and you can go ahead and see a picture of it. Almost all my rune pages are actually over on Facebook in the photos section, so you can head over there and like that and see posts of everything over there. So head over there, look at all those pages, and you can get those points in the right area if you're looking for what to do with maybe your AP mids for your masteries page. You can see all that over there. Time to head back to base and buy some more items. At this point in the game, though, I will be honest, those first two items are kind of your, or well, three counting your boots, are kind of your main items you really want to go for. At this point, depending on the damage you're taking, you could get your Abyssal Scepter or a Zhonya's Hourglass if you're really taking damage heavy from one side. I'm kind of in between, not really taking too much. I only died 3 times. I got 10 kills right now. We're actually going to build towards something that you can kind of get, or you can get another item similar to it. I'm going to go ahead and start building towards Liandry's Torment. It's kind of nice since we do have that Q that stops him and your ultimate as well. We're going to get into a big team fight here. I'm going to move in and use my ultimate to try to get all of them. It's going to do a lot of damage. I'll pick up a kill on Caitlyn and a bunch of assists as well. I'll also use one more Q to stop him with that bind there and allow Twitch to pick up the kill. And then we're basically going to end the game out right here. But I'm building that Liandry's next. And then I mentioned those other two you can finish out the game with. But everything is listed in the description as always. Don't forget to go check out those masteries as well on that Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can put those down in the comments below. But other than that, I'll just see all of you guys in the next build video. Here comes Jarvan again for a gank. I'm going to actually poke at him because it's just him right here now. They're both showing up. I'm going to actually come back in here, taunt them both because I think I can kill this Ezreal, and I am able to. Now I'm going to go ahead and fight this J4 just a little bit. I did put that shield on me, which is protecting me quite a bit, and I'm going to keep throwing attacks back at him, and I think I actually can win this engagement now. So I'm going to keep chasing after him. He is going to get away just barely. I don't want to tower dive this, but you know, you can do a lot more damage than you think you can because you build just a little bit of off tank.